So now we're going to talk about creating knowledge data categories and data category groups. And one item of quick housekeeping before we continue on with that is I want to make sure that you've got Lightning Knowledge enabled. So if you go to Knowledge Settings, I just want to make sure you've got this particular checkbox checked to enable Lightning Knowledge as well. That should have been done in the previous lecture a couple of lectures ago, but I just wanted to make sure before we continue on to make sure that we had that in place. So once we've got Lightning Knowledge enabled, we want to go into data categories. And so as I type in setup, we see the list of options shrink as we type more. And we've got different data category assignments and mappings, and we also have data category setup and default data category visibility. So if we go into data category setup, that brings us to the data categories page. Now this is a new type of page, and this is where you create category groups, and these are hierarchies of data categories. So I think one of the best examples I've found of how to set up these data category groups and data categories in order to find a good set of samples is in this help article called Data Categories in Salesforce, which I'll link to in the resources section of this lecture. And I've highlighted this section of relevance here, and it gives a definition of Salesforce knowledge and how it uses data categories to classify articles and make them easier to find. And it's this for example that we're going to reference as we put together some of these category groups. And how this works is you create data category groups, and then you can create categories for your knowledge articles below the data category groups. And so for example, you could create two category groups. That would be sales regions and products. So let's go back to Salesforce, and let's create these two different data category groups. And the first one is sales regions. So I'm going to type that in the group name, and then tab to fill in the group unique name. And I'm going to click save. Now watch what happens is that the category loads here. And then the other category group, if we go back, we refer to this as products. So let's create another category group called products, and then click save. And so now we've got two inactive category groups listed here. You've got sales regions and you've got products. And you notice these icons here. We've got the ability to edit a category group by clicking the gear icon. And that brings us back to the previous screen where we could add a description. And then our other category group is available here, and it's called products. Also, in addition to the edit category, you can also activate a category or delete a category by clicking these buttons here. And then another thing I want to show you in working with the data category setup screen, this won't be on the test, but it's just good to know as a consultant on the platform, is that there are keyboard shortcuts available for working with data categories. And so you can add a category such as a sibling to the selected category by pressing enter, or add a child to the selected category by pressing enter plus tab. And so I think what we'll do is we'll add a child to a selected category by pressing enter plus tab. And to see some of the different child categories we need to create, let's look back at our help article. It says the sales regions category group could consist of a geographical hierarchy such as all sales regions at the top level and North America, Europe, and Asia at the second level. So let's say all sales regions by pressing enter and tab. And I pressed enter and tab, and it opens up the ability to create, based on this keyboard shortcut right here, add a child to the selected category. So if you noticed, I was on the sales region, and we're saying that we're creating a child category in the hierarchy called all sales regions. There's also a tip here, so some other keyboard shortcuts that you can do to promote or demote categories. You can shift tab to promote the category up a level, for example. And this is all like a folder structure of how to organize your knowledge articles, okay? And these are data category groups. All right, so we need to create at the second level these additional data category groups for North America, Europe, and Asia. So I'm going to hover over this data category group, and then I'm going to select to add a child category. And then I'm going to create Europe, and then I'm going to create Asia. And then if I go back to the help article, the products group could have all products at the top level, and then phones, computers, and printers at the second level. So let's do that real quick under products. We're going to save changes. For some reason, this pop-up window is persisting. I'm trying to get rid of that. Let me go back to data category setup to get rid of that little glitch in the matrix. All right, so now we're going to go to products. Let's look at sales regions first to see what we have. We can expand this to see all. We've got our top level and our second level here. And for products, instead of doing the keyboard shortcuts, I'm going to just show this through clicking the mouse. We're going to hover over the all and select actions and add a child category. And so for that top category, we're going to do all products. Then we're going to add 3 child categories. And those, once again, were phones, computers, and printers. All right, so I've saved our progress so far. And so now, once again, we've got sales regions and we have products. You can expand all and collapse all by using these buttons here. And as well, the keyboard shortcuts help page is available from this link here, and that'll open up the keyboard shortcuts for data categories. Let's go back into our data category setup. And then in addition to setting up the data category groups and subcategories, which we did previously, we can also set the default data category visibility. And this will round out our configuration of data categories for Salesforce Knowledge. And so we've got our 2 different category groups that we created previously. The visibility is set to none. And so we can click edit to make these visible. And the way we do that is we can set the visibility down below with these radio buttons. We can do a custom, and clicking that will make a custom selection of available categories and then selected categories. So for example, if we wanted to just make computers visible, we could do that, but I'm going to do all categories instead and click save. Now you notice for products, we've got a visibility of all, but we don't have it set to active yet. And I'll show you how to do that here in a moment. But if we go back to default data category visibility, we can edit the sales regions as well and select all categories and click save. Now, if we go to the data category setup again, and we go into sales regions, and you recall, as we hover over this, I showed previously these different buttons. You can activate the category groups by clicking this icon here, which I just clicked this. And so this changes the icon to have a little red line across it when I hover over. And if I click it again, it'll toggle that to deactivate the category group. And so in order to activate the other category group, I'm going to click this. And so now both of these data category groups are active, and they've moved up from the inactive category groups list up to the active category groups list. And so if we go back to default category visibility and click edit, we'll see that this is now set to active. And as well for the other data category group of sales regions, likewise, it is set to active as well. So now that we've gone through the setup of data category groups and data categories for Salesforce Knowledge, we'll next look at creating knowledge article types.